Hi, I'm Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to the digital background tutorial video by LSP. This video I'm going to show you exactly how to use the LSP newborn digital background Photoshop Actions and we'll be editing using the LSP Love Bowl Digital. This video is 24 minutes long. It's a long one because I'm going to go really slowly. I'm going to cover everything that you need to know when it comes to editing digital backgrounds. Adding baby in, blending, using the actions, adding shadows and making everything look super realistic. If you're already savvy with digital backgrounds and you just want to kind of jump in and go, you can watch video 2. Bear in mind I do move very fast on video 2, assuming you've already watched this one and you know exactly what you're doing. So grab yourself a coffee or something stronger, get your image up. You can edit along with me or you can watch along and learn from this video. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is to load the Photoshop Actions into your Photoshop Action palette. If you cannot see the Action palette on your Photoshop screen when it's open, you simply need to come up to Window and choose Actions. And your Action panel will appear. It may appear up here in this little box. If it does, I'd recommend grabbing the tab that says Actions and pulling it free floating. And then you can come here and slide it in until the little blue line appears and your actions will be here in a nice column. If your actions are in grey editing mode, you're going to want to switch over to coloured button mode, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. To load the actions in, you need to download them to your computer from the LSP Actions website after purchase. Locate them on your computer and you will see the icon like this, action file. The file is a .atn. This is an action file for Photoshop and can only be used in Photoshop. I'm going to double click this and this has now appeared in the Actions panel, and here it will stay until you delete it, so it'll be there every time you open up Photoshop now. You'll see there's a folder here, the LSP Newborn Digital Background Assistant, and the folder is open with all these kind of grey actions here. What I like to do is to grab the actions I'm working with. Grab the folder, not individual actions, not individual commands. Grab the folder title and drag it up to the top. Like this. The actions are the ones with the little play icon next to them here. Everything else is instructions, spacing and layout. I like to work in button mode, which is a lot better, I find, than grey editing mode. So come up here to the little burger menu, the 3 little lines in the top right of your Actions palette, and choose button mode. And you will notice now, I'm going to go back up to the top, all the actions are colour coded. If they look like this, kind of all higgledy-piggledy, you need to come here on the side until this little arrow appears and just drag it in until they snap into a neat column like this. And you will see the layout is there ready for you to use. Included you have step 1, add the baby. You need to play this one first before you play any of the others. And then you have steps 2 and 3, adding the main baby editing layers, blending the colours. Step 4 is optional. This is if you're working with very white or very dark digital backgrounds. You can add even further layers there to blend the baby in. And step 5, you can edit the actual digital background itself, as long as you have permission to do so. All LSP digitals you do. So these can edit the background to make the background fit your image even more. And then we have finishing overlays here that you can play afterwards that will affect the whole image and turn it into a beautiful finished scene. So the first thing you need to do before you open the digital, before you add baby in, is to open up Photoshop, open up the baby image and edit the baby image first. Don't just go ahead and add the raw baby image straight to the digital file. Get in there first, fix the skin, do your normal editing and pay attention to the colours and the tones of the digital you're going to be editing in. So for example, you might need to change your style a little bit to suit this digital background. You may need to go a bit lighter, more airy, you may need to go slightly more darker, contrasty, or you may need to go for a straight up balanced and simple image. This image here that I'm going to be using has been shot on the Perfect Posy. This is wonderful for digital backgrounds, and you can get this at Graceland Designs. As far as I'm concerned, posing aids do not get any better than this for digital backgrounds. So I'm going to edit this one using the LSP Signature Newborn Photoshop Action Suite. You can of course edit in your own way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just speed up this edit really quickly to show you a quick before and after of what I'm going to be doing with the skin. I'm just cropping in nice and close because this image was shot for the digital backgrounds. So I'm just going to speed this up now. So I'm using the LSP Signature Newborn Photoshop Action Suite to do the skin editing here. You can get this at www.lsp-actions.com. This isn't a skin editing video, so I've sped this one up to get past this section quickly. But if you want to learn more about editing newborn skin, you can visit the LSP Actions website. There are plenty of videos on there. So we can just see before and after. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and save this image, ready to add to the digital in just a moment. So let me go ahead and close that one. So now you can load the digital into Photoshop, the digital background. You need to locate this on your computer from your downloads and click Open in Photoshop. If you're using a standard flat JPEG digital background, most of them are, you'll notice a single layer in your layers panel here called background. It's really important you have your layers panel turned on for digital background editing. If you don't see your layers panel, you can come up here to Window and choose Layers. I'm editing using the LSP Limited Edition Love Bowl digital background, which comes currently free as a free gift with the action set. If you're using any digital background from LSP Actions, you will notice a stack of layers here, ready for you to turn on or off and tweak to create a unique version of the image that suits your styling. All LSP digital backgrounds come preloaded with different layers to allow you to mix and match to suit your image. For example, the Love Bowl comes with the base layer here. It comes with a dark fur version in the bowl, light fluff, and light fur. So whatever you have shot on, you can composite that to suit this background and create a different look every time. If you're worried you might accidentally save over the original digital background, you can come up here to Image and hit Duplicate. And you will notice now you have a duplicate version of the digital background, a copy version, and you can go ahead and close the original digital background to make sure you don't save over it. So now I'm going to be working on this copy version. Once you have the digital loaded into Photoshop, you've checked it all out, you have the actions here ready, your layers panel open, you're now ready to add baby in and start compositing. So first of all, if you're using a flat digital background, you can just click here on the background layer. If you're using an LSP digital, switch it on or off and decide which version you would like to use. You can do that by simply clicking the eyes. You'll see each LSP digital background comes with its own personal instruction videos that you can watch. This instruction video is for the LSP Love Bowl digital background and the LSP digital background Photoshop Actions. So once that's all ready, you click in the position that you're going to be wanting to add baby in the layers panel. Again, if it's just a flat digital, you can't click anywhere else. You can just have the background layer selected, which it will be anyway, so you don't need to worry. For an LSP digital for the Love Bowl, I'm going to click here where it says place your baby here. Come up to the action, step 1, add baby layers, and click here this orange action, add baby, play this action first. What this will do is open up your folders so you can locate the baby image. A little instruction box pops up telling you to locate the pre-edited image of the baby you want to use and choose place and then enter. So hit continue here. So find the baby image you edited, select it and hit place. The first thing that will happen is the baby will appear on your digital background. It may be big like this, it may be small. Now this step here, you'll notice there is a box, a selection box around the baby. This is a transform box. This is the point where you decide if your lighting needs to be coming from the opposite angle. So take a look at the shadows in the digital. The shadows are here on the right, which means the light is coming down this way from the left. The shadows are a great indication as to which direction the light is coming in. The light is kind of coming side on in this image, so I'm going to need to kind of rotate baby here so the light and the shadows are matching up. If baby is the wrong way, like this, with the light coming from the wrong direction to the digital, no amount of editing is going to fix that. So at this point you need to flip the baby by right-clicking, flip horizontal, if the light needs to be coming from the other direction. When you're sure the lighting matches up, you might not have to do anything. It might just come in, be perfect, good to go. So up here you'll see a little tick, or you can hit enter. The action will continue playing. And now you notice baby has shrunk and gone transparent. You can now position baby and drag the box like this to resize, come outside the box to rotate. This is the point where you will just size baby in to fit the prop. You can find more information about how big baby needs to be, how to add them in, and how to choose the right way to photograph baby for a digital background on the PDF guide that comes with this set. So please do read the guide. It's full of tips and information for shooting for digital backgrounds. Once baby is in the right size, hit enter, or again the little checkbox, and the action will finish playing. A message box will pop up saying use a small hard white brush, paint directly on to reveal baby. Paint and refine the selection of baby to match the digital until you're happy with the selection. This is the cutout of baby. You can use a black brush to hide, and you can use your own hand editing to blend baby or go to the next step. So hit stop here, and you'll notice in your layers panel now you have a group with your baby, you have baby here, baby added in, and you also have a black layer mask next to baby, which is already selected. You don't have to do that. What you need to do, a brush is already selected, is right click and make sure you're on a soft round brush, but I would increase the hardness a little bit. Opacity 100%, flow 50. That's how I like to work. It's up to you if you prefer to work with a low opacity. So I'm going to use the magnifying glass to zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to select the brush, and now you'll see when I start painting on, baby is beginning to appear. This is the point where you need to refine your selection of baby. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm just brushing baby in using this white brush, like this. A little bit of the background is showing too. I shot baby on the perfect pose. You can see some of that coming in now. Now I'm going to take the brush down to a nice soft brush by dragging the hardness down. Switch to black, and I'm just going to start painting away some of the background. Again, if you shoot on a similar background, something fluffy, something soft, you don't need to make such a solid cutout. If you shot baby on fur, I'm going to drag this up to the top. If you shot baby on fur, for example, you're going to want to turn the fur on. If you shot baby on a lighter background, you're going to want to turn one of these light ones on. So you've got the options here to turn on whichever kind of underlayer suits your baby image better. So I'm just cutting out. You can hit zoom to zoom in or out to really make sure you're making a good cutout. You can see here I'm switching between a black and a white brush, making sure to make a good cutout of baby. But luckily, because I shot on something a similar kind of fabric, the posy, which is wonderful for this, it's a nice and easy cutout. If I needed to cut very close, for example here, you get a hard brush, hold down on the mouse and paint away until you're happy. I like editing with one hand on the keyboard, one hand on the mouse or the tablet, depending on which computer I'm on. So you can see right now this is a bit of a rough cutout of baby, and at this point you can hold down Control or Command T if you want to resize baby, to move baby around even further if needed. So the great thing about the layer masks is, which you will use throughout this editing, it means your baby image is still completely intact behind this mask. So if I just take the mask off for a minute, you can see that. So you can go back again later and edit the masking if you spot something that might need attending to, or you wish to refine this selection even further. You can go back and do that later. The baby image is also a smart object, so you'll see here there is a little thumbnail, a little icon, sorry, on the layer thumbnail. Smart object thumbnail. This means the baby image still contains all the original pixel information. So you can double click this, click it twice, and this will open up your image separately again. So if, for example, there's some extra skin editing you want to do, or anything else like that, you can double click, make adjustments and edits on this baby layer, hit save and close it again, and it will save this, this version back again to the digital image. So it's absolutely fantastic and non-destructive. So once you're happy with the rough masking of the baby and they're positioned correctly in the digital, the next stage is going to be adding the adjustment layers that you're going to need to blend the baby and the digital together. The most important of these being the shadowing. So you're going to come up here to the Actions panel and click on step 2, which is add the main baby editing layers. Click on this and it will play out and create another 7 layers situated around your baby image. These layers here, what I'm going to do is just pull this panel out a little so we can see the words a bit more. These layers here, you can see by the arrows, are clipped onto the baby image, which means any editing you do using these layer masks will only affect the baby. Underneath the baby layer you have gentle shadow, heavy shadow. Above the baby you have shadows over the baby, darken, lift, lighten, contrast and warm. So I'm going to get started here on the gentle shadow under baby. A white brush will have already been selected for you, but if not, you can select that. I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to take this flow down now, perhaps to 25%. Right click and let's take the hardness all the way down to a nice soft brush too. Adjust the brush size to suit your image. So make sure the layer mask and not the layer is selected, so make sure you click the black box and you can start painting some of this shadowing in now, where the natural shadow would fall in the image. So I'm just going to add some of that around baby. That's the gentle shadow layer. I'm going to click here on the black box of the heavy shadow layer now and add some of these darker shadows in the same direction as the shadowing of the digital. So I'm just clicking on the image here to add them in. Once you're happy with the shadows underneath baby, you can come up and click on the shadows over baby again. Make sure you've selected the black box. And if you need to darken around the edge of baby, you can do this, and this will only affect the baby layer. You can hit X on the keyboard to switch to a black brush and take this off if required. We also have darken, lift and lighten. I'm going to perhaps use this a little bit with a white brush, just to lift and dodge any areas of the image here. So you can just keep clicking on these, painting on with a black or a white brush as required. And once you're happy with that initial stage of baby blending, again these layers all remain intact, the layer masks are all here. You can always come back and do a little bit more if you want to. The next step will be playing step 3, which is blend the colours. So click this one here in the Actions panel. It's now playing out. And it's set up another 4 layers above the baby. You have blend the tones. This one's a really smart layer here. It will create a layer for you to be able to blend the tones of your baby image to match that of the digital. So for example, if baby was wearing, I don't know, a bright red onesie and you wanted to tone that down, or was on a red blanket, tone that down to match the digital a little bit more, you can use this layer. Colour change. Now, I don't need to change any of the colours of this image, but if, for example, I wanted to change baby's outfit to, I don't know, a green, you can start painting this on. Obviously, you're going to want to avoid the skin, so I've roughly painted that on. Select a black brush, shrink that down to take this off the skin. Yes, and right now it is purple. I don't want to change baby to purple, but I'll show you how you can change the colour in a moment. But it will just come up a colour that's very different to your digital to allow you to see exactly where you're painting this on. So once you've painted the colour on using a white brush, come up here to the colour layer, which is on the layer mask, and move along to the left. You see the little circle here, click that, click it twice, and you will get the hue and saturation box pop up. you can drag this. Let me just move this over here a bit for you. You can drag this hue and you will notice now it's changing the colour. So for example, if I maybe want baby in grey, you can take the saturation down, a bluey grey to perhaps match the digital a little more back on the mask. I'm just going to paint this in a little bit more accurately there. You can also change the opacity of these layers too. So now you can see baby is in a grey onesie instead of a brown, a bluey grey, which suits the tones of the digital image. And at any point you can go back and turn these on or off, change them, do what you like with them. The layer mask's still there throughout the whole editing process. Now step 4 is optional. This is if you're working on a white or a very dark digital background. You can set up the blending white layers, which will again appear here above baby, or you can set up the blending darks layers here. And once you're done editing the baby, once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and click this little drop down here on the Your Baby group to tidy that up. They're all still there. You can just close it down for now and tidy it up. And we can turn this one on or off to see a before and after of baby. And the last step, once you've composited baby in, of course at this point you can hit save and it's all good and you're done. If you want to edit the background, you come down here, click on the background layer, and come into step 5, editing the digital background. You have two options, light digitals and dark digitals. So I'm going to click to play out these dark digital layers here. And you will see now we have some yellow layers as a group here called edit the background. Yellow layers dark and light and warm, cool, vignette, contrast and colour change for the background. All LSP digital backgrounds you're allowed to do this. Do check with the licensing if you're using someone else's digitals as to whether you are allowed to edit the digital background. Most of the time you are, but please do check. Now these are not brush on layers. They're not black layer masks, they're white, which means they show, but they are hidden because the little eye icon is off. See these boxes here? So what you can do, you can just mix and match, click them on or off to decide whether you want them to show or not. So for example, darken the background. You can also come up here and slide the opacity up. Lighten, warm it, cool it, add a vignette, leave that one on, I like that. Add more contrast. And you have a colour change paint again, which you can paint on to change the colours of any area of your digital. And again, you can double click the little icon here and change the hue, just as we did with the baby colour change. Once you're happy with editing the background, the last step is some finishing layers here. Again, do check if you're allowed to alter the look of the digital. You have a creamy matte, black and white. Let's play a black and white here to give a different option to your gallery if you would like one in colour and one in black and white. And you can simply turn these on or off. We have, let's say, the dark and grungy finisher. That's just playing out. And again, you can slide the opacity of these. You can paint areas on or off if you want to. Turn that one off. And so on. So that's how to edit a digital background using the LSP Newborn Digital Background Assistant. Photoshop Action Suite, that's available at www.lsp-actions.com. That comes with this digital background here, the Love Bowl, which has 4 different underlay options underneath baby that you can use depending on your image. Please do watch video 2 if you would like to know how to edit a lighter image using these actions. In video 2 I move a lot faster, so this video really is a tutorial video. Video 2 is just a quick demonstration. And these are available at www.lsp-actions.com. I'm Lauren, thanks for watching.